Hello, hello, hello. Let's going to go into January astrology, daily astrology for January the 5th, 2024. I went ahead and put a title on January the 4th because I felt like it was really important for everyone to see that and be aware. If you would, I would appreciate you give the videos thumbs up. Also, if you're new to the channel, subscribe. Make sure you hit the bell as well and hit the all, so you will be notified of all upcoming events, or you will be notified when a video is being posted up. It's real important that you get the notification that I'm putting new material out, that you're seeing what's going on. So, and if you like that, where it can help you on a daily basis, you get up in the morning, you look at the outlook for the day, you say, okay, around this time of the day, I might have some issues. But remember, all times that I put out are Eastern Standard Time, so you will have to adjust it to your location and your area. Because you can be an hour ahead of me, an hour behind me, 3 hours behind me, 2 hours behind me, 8 hours. You know, it just depends on where you are in the world that you see the video, okay? And then it gets out there. You are more than welcome to share the link to the videos. You're more than welcome to comment below. Ask a question. I do look at all the comments. I like to help people as I can in any way. And if I can, and I don't have the answer at the time, I will go check it out for you. I will find out. So let's go ahead and jump into for the day for January the 5th and what's going on there. You ready? Here we go. Come on, switch over. There we go. Here we are. All right. We start out the day with the moon here, getting ready to depart out of Libra and go into Scorpio. The moon is in a fall in Scorpio. And what does it mean when it says it's in a fall? It means if a planet is the opposite sign of its exaltation, which with Scorpio, the moon being here, it's exalted in Taurus. It's more powerful, more accomplishments emotionally, sort of an emotional high day, and whatever it impacts in that time, or what planets may be there that it comes in contact with, it exalts them. So where there could be really at this time, if the moon was in Taurus and it came across Jupiter, it would expand those feelings. It would exalt them. If it came across the moon, then came into conjunction with Uranus, there would be an unexpected change in what you feel, and the aspects that are to it at that time during its conjunction. So when the moon goes into Scorpio, its aspects that it has is sort of in a fall, because it's opposite the sign of its exaltation. It is in sort of a feeling of a dishonor emotionally, or a since there's no other planets there, it just feels kind of like it you may feel the kind of like the odds are against you emotionally. You may feel that because like I said, it's going to be there all by itself. You may feel sort of lonely. You feel like things aren't expanding. You're not getting what with the 8th house, it deals with death. You know, kind of, you feel things like things are ending, or you may be trying to have something regenerate something. Because remember, for one thing as well, here, the moon and the sun do not go retrograde. It doesn't have that. It's just a generation of where you may be trying to regenerate something, bringing something up, or something may be coming up out of nowhere that you thought was done and over with. And it also deals with secrets and secrets and rituals and occult and power, because it's dealing with its aspects will be dealing with Pluto, which Pluto is about power and control. And you may have to work a little bit extra hard to control that energy or that power that maybe, others may be feeling. Also, it's dealing with sexual activity, or with dealing with shared assets, because with Scorpio, it's what we, as with others, because it's the we house, or Scorpio is the we sign. It deals with what we desire and how we can be very courageous, competitive, because it's also ruled by Mars and what we seek. So, we may be seeking something here to make us feel really good with others. What we, with Mars and Pluto, it's like controlling, but also seeking. And Mars now in Capricorn, and Capricorn being that of what we can control. Only thing we can control is really ourselves. We do have the power, though, to not let others control us. Because some people will get very aggressive when they feel, or will take some sort of action to fight off, or have the courage to stand up and say, you don't tell me what I can do. And the moon in Scorpio, the two major arcanas that deal with Scorpio is death and judgment. Judgment is the sign where something is awakening us to something. But death is where we end it. We take our authority and our power of someone else's control, and we end it, their control. We take our power back. And judgment is when we become aware to something here of what we feel, because the moon's going to be there. So somebody could be less feeling this, in where you take back. Let's just, for an example here, let's say, now the moon's going to be squaring Pluto in this. And you can see that right here. It is squaring Pluto in Capricorn at 2929. Both of them at 2929. So this is you, or dealing with the we aspect, and we control, right? Be cautious of those who try to control others in some way. We're looking at a fixed sign where the moon is in a fixed sign. And we're looking at Pluto in a cardinal sign. So what we can control, but yet of what we desire. We can control what we desire. And if we don't desire something with another person, or another person trying to control us, that's not something we desire. do we? No. So there's a square here. There's a challenge here that has to be faced. And maybe you need to put limits up, restrictions up, especially if somebody is imposing on your vision and your dream. Because this moon is aspecting not only in a square to Pluto, but its aspect to Saturn is saying, no, I control who I love. I control my capacity to love. I also control my values. You don't. And you may have to put those limits up. I control my actions. I'm not going to control yours. Don't blame me for what you do. Because these are going to be very important in these aspects of what your vision is for something for you compared to another person's. Remember, we're looking at the we in this. What we desire, what we can control. And really all we can control is ourselves. And you can give your power away if you choose to do that. But if you don't, then you need to stand up for it and say, no, you can't do that to me. I'm not going to allow you to. I'm not going to allow you to feed me with an illusion of something. Now, with the moon in Libra, still squaring Pluto at 2929, it's sort of with 29 degrees, it's like something departing, leaving the mind, the head, which the head is usually talking about the North Node. But here, you can leave a situation anytime you want. You can put it out of your mind. And by putting it out of your mind, then you don't feel it. You release it. You let those thoughts depart from you. Remember, Pluto is the god of hell, is the keeper with the keys of Hades, the gate of hell. It will drag you down in illusions. And if you choose not to go into that and be controlled by others' illusions and others' actions, like, you're not going to drag me into that shitty hole. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm not going in your hell. You know? You want to go there? Go alone. Don't look at me to rescue you. You know? It's what you desire, what we desire to control. What we can control. And we can stand up for ourselves and say no. Because there's an opposition here as well of the moon and what you feel. You can expand on these thoughts, or you can control them and oppose them. Stand outside of yourself and say, I'm not going to let you make me angry. I'm not going to use cutting words. I'm not going to fight with you. I'm not going to argue with you. So these thoughts can depart from the head. It's almost like saying, Satan, depart from me. Bye. I'm gone. You can't get to me. You don't have access. You don't control me. And you let it go. Now, because of this aspect in this square to Pluto, what is creating is that we have the T square here. And what this is doing is what your goals are. Again, this is a lot about with our goals. Oh, with our goals and what we aspire and what we dedicate ourselves to. And where we have something here with Neptune being in alignment. Remember, the square is a challenge that we take on. What our vision, our goal is. And what we allow to control our thoughts and our communication. A lot of people they're waking up to something here about people controlling what you can say and what you can't say. You know, telling you that, oh, there's multi-genders. I don't believe in that. There's masculine and feminine energy. Even though we all have that in us, there may be a confusion of our gender identity because we do have the masculine. I have a deep voice. That's a masculine voice. I don't talk way up here, and I don't go around saying darling, baby, and all that, okay? I don't have all that. I do have some feminine in me. I am a female. I love being a woman. I love the power of being a woman. And being sensual or being loving. And how I can control that. To whom I want to give it to. Right? Nobody has the right to take it. And I love being a feminine energy. Now, this is where people are getting confused. That because they have more masculine, like I've got the deep voice, okay? That's okay. I like it. I like it. Some people find it soothing. Some people find it sexual. Whatever. Some people find it masculine or overpowering. Usually when people have a deep voice, they're kind of intimidating. But they can be very caring and very giving. So don't judge a book or judge something by the way it sounds. That's why I hate texting. I can't stand it. Because you can't get that from an individual of really the true meaning of the sound of their voice and the way they express what they feel. I just don't like it. I think people who do that stupid. Excuse me if I'm calling anybody stupid, but I'm saying if you want the gist of something here, you are wasting your time texting. Okay? Because you're losing an era. We are losing an era where writers would convey or the stories that were told, the letters, the love letters that were written, and the meaning and how they express themselves. We're losing that by just texting little emojis and this and that, I mean, it would be different if I just had the emoji of a pile of poop, right? And I said, I feel like a pile of poop. Well, that might express something about the way I feel. Or something here. I mean, I know why emojis were created was to try and put the feeling in a text, but the sound of the voice really tells the truth here. So, whatever this is the communication that's going on. Now, the next thing we have here is we're dealing with a trapezoid double. Okay? And this is where a lot of people would call this a cradle or a comfort zone or a focus. And anything that's outside of that, that's not included in that, we may get too comfortable in this to where we don't see what is out there around this that may be kind of coming against us, or we're staying too much in a zone here because it feels comfortable. As long as we're in our little cubby hole or in our little basket here, we feel comfortable. Sometimes we have to go outside of that little box. We have to be willing to step outside and look at what's around that could be in an opposition to us. So it starts out with Mars, and Mars is in a conjunction with the ascending. So something about Mars, and this is coming up because the sun is rising. And this is at 6:40 in the morning. So the sun's going to rise around 7 something in the morning. But it's kind of letting you know there's an action that's got to be taken here. It starts out with that. And it's sextiling over to Saturn, where there's rules, regulations, how we act within society's boundaries, laws that govern us, or that limit us, restrict us in some way. So we live within those boundaries, okay? We live in this boundary, in our own little area. But we don't know what may be outside of that little area as well that could be against us. And I said this all started out with the square to Pluto. Your power, your control. What we can control is in this little box here. What we desire is in this little box here. Don't tread on my little box. Don't come into my little basket and think you're going to disrupt everything, because I'll probably kick you out. I don't go into somebody else's zones, so don't come into mine. Now, also the next thing that we have here is Jupiter. Expansion and growth. And the last thing we have is the opposition to the moon. Now, this is an opposition of the moon to Jupiter. We want to expand our little basket, our little zone, our realm. We want to see what's going on out there in this little area of sextiles. Remember, sextiles is where it shows it shows opportunities for productivity and success. So we can have it if we are willing to step outside of our comfort zone or our focus. And we're sort of like, what we desire and what we can control is ourselves. We can come up out of that basket, but we allow who we allow into the basket. Right? And what we have here is the moon trying Neptune. Neptune. What is wrong with me? Sometimes I don't know what it is about me and Neptune here lately. But it's a trine to Saturn. You know, it's like, okay, I can work within this area and in this focus, and I can limit who I let come into my little area, my little basket. But don't think you can come in and push me out of my basket. You know what I'm saying? Because I may become a warrior and kick you out of my basket. You see what I'm saying? So, with the trapezoid is where there's this sort of comfort zone that we live in. And we can choose who we let in it and who we don't let in by our restrictions and our limitations. And we will work within those limitations or restrictions of the law. But you got to remember, the moon is going to be going into Scorpio. And we'll see what happens there. The next thing we have a double, like I said, a double trapezoid here. The difference is, in this, the only difference in this is that it's forewarning us that with the ascending now, not so much Mars, but what is coming up. Who's trying to get into your basket? Who's trying to overstep the boundaries? Who is coming into your zone, maybe trying to expand on something here, or wanting to borrow something you possess, something you control? You know what I'm saying? And you may be opposed to it. You may not want to share with others what you have and what you have accomplished. Each individual situation will be determined by you and who you let in that little area, because all this is outside of this area. Could be opposing forces. They don't want you to have something here. They want to take what you have. They want to use what you have accumulated, what your resources are that you have accumulated. Are you going to stand there and just let them take it and control it? No, nobody would. That's like coming in here and going in my closet and finding a dress you like and putting it on. I don't care if you're a male or a female. I catch you in my closet. Oh, Lord, I catch you in my things, my personal things, or try to take something from me that I've made sacrifices for, that I've worked for. I'd be a little leery. Because what is the attention thing I'm seeing here is, again, with this moon so close to the south node, and what it is, that it's sort of like something in the past here. At this point, what's going on right here that's coming up? You better look above. And it has something to do with this sun and this square or this challenge with Pluto. What's trying to come into your life and control you and putting you through hell? Who's trying to get into your little basket? And you need to focus on what's outside of that basket. Don't mean you got to step out there. You stay in your restrictions area you've corded off here. I won't go step over my bounds, and I'll follow the law, and I'll do this, and I'll know the restrictions of what I can do and what I can't do. Okay, within society, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. I'm not going to go out there and just start ripping my clothes off, you know? Or go out there and start an argument with somebody, or get in somebody's face, or go out there and take something from somebody else. No. I live within my boundaries of society. I don't have a problem with that. But boy, you try to come into my boundary area and take from me, you got a tiger by the tail. You hear me? So I kind of feel like that's where we are right now. And the challenge here is meeting it head on to say, you're not going to rob me of my aspirations. You're not going to tell me what I can accomplish. You're not going to take my plans, my dreams from me. Nobody's going to steal that from me. Those are my plans, my dreams, my devotion to something here. Try to come and take it. You want to bark up that tree if you want to, but I wouldn't advise it. And I think we are all getting in that zone. We can live within the restriction and the governance of the laws if the laws are fair and just for everyone. But don't think you're allowed to do something and get away with it, but I have to live within those boundaries of society. But you don't. Right? Don't say to me that I have to call you by a certain thing. I don't have to address you one bit. I don't even have to acknowledge you. I can walk right by you. See what I'm saying? And for people to demand, you call me this. I identify as a cat. I identify as this giraffe. Really? Go suck on a tree limb. I mean, that's the way I look at it. I don't have to address you at all. I don't even have to acknowledge you that you exist. In my world, don't tread on me and I won't tread on you. You can call yourself anything you want to, but don't expect it from me. It's just that simple. I mean, it's not difficult here. And this is maybe what you're going to face throughout this day of people imposing or trying to impose in to your basket upon what your dreams are, what your visions are, what you choose for yourself here. Now, 3 hours from that, we have here where the moon is now in Scorpio. It's 42 minutes in, and the midheaven is there. Midheaven has done past something of the south node, this point of where the moon is, okay? Because that's those imaginary degrees of where the moon is. And the midheaven is now almost completely through. 3 hours later, it's gone from here in conjunction with the south node to way over here. So now, what's above? What is above? That's because that's what that is. You look above. You look up. Don't look down. Look up. And what is that right at that midheaven is Mars. What is that energy that's above? Mars. And the moon, just coming into Scorpio, is in a sextile with Mars in Capricorn at 42. They're both even in their degrees. Now, Mars in Capricorn is exalted. So this is where you can work on achieving something here. This is where, with this T square, keep forgetting, gotta change it over. With this T square, which is the apex, which is Neptune here, okay? At 25 degrees, 8 minutes in, the apex is Neptune, and it's squaring Vista. All right? And it's squaring Mercury. Just something's how to accomplish something here. Well, to accomplish something is being dedicated to something, focusing on it in a sort of a high spiritual energy. That you want to accomplish something here, and it's on your mind. You're seeking something here, seeking some sort of philosophy that you have, and where there is this opposition, maybe, to where how devoted you're going to be to something, almost in a spiritual way. Are you going to devote yourself something here to this vision? Because Neptune is that. You're not gonna glamorize it. You're not gonna get in all to the glamour and illusion of it. No, because that's a negative. You want to take and make it positive. So you want to create something here. You're going to use your creative imagination and your psychic ability to lead you beyond something here to seek something out. But it's not glamour, and it's not the illusion. You want to create something that is real. Right now, it may be just in that phase, and we've been there in that phase for some time. And now, how do we make it a reality? I'm not going to glamorize it, my illusions, my dreams. But how do I bring it into reality? And what resources am I going to need to create this? Well, I have to be active. I have to do something here. I have to take the action. And right now, we may look at what we have and what we can use of what we have to accomplish what we may need in the future toward this. Let's say, I use myself as an example. I own a home, so that's something I have. It's a possession, right? It's paid for. Good. So it's an asset. So I may look at my assets and what I value most out of those assets and what it means to me and how I can use it as a resource in the future to what I want to accomplish, which is to build a new home. And I have to look at what it's going to take to build that new home and still maintain what I have right now, right? So I would say with myself, I'm still in the planning stage of a vision that I have that I want to create something here. Nothing big, nothing fancy. I don't want to go glamorous and all this kind of stuff like 5,000 square foot home. No. Just something that I feel comfortable in. That's reality. I don't want to go all out. It's, I'm working within my own means and what it would take to do that. So, this is kind of like just an example that I'm giving. Some of you, whatever it is you inspire and how you're going to dedicate yourself to that. Now, we all know that there's things that we have to do to be able to accomplish those. And how we use those resources in a responsible way. Being very responsible. And where we get our resources from to meet our everyday needs. And we may feel right now, I'm starting this channel. Okay, we can look at that too. I inspire for this channel to be something where people can learn and take lessons from, but they can gain in knowledge of when is the right time and when is the wrong time as well. So this could be a lesson to all. But I will say also, that we have to work within those restrictions. In other words, we can't steal from others. We can't take from others. What we desire, we control, and not let others take from us because they don't want to get out and work for it. Right? So working within that zone or that trapezoid and taking what actions we can take, working within the boundaries of our area. And really those that are outside of it, like these planets here, Venus being outside the zone, Sun being outside, Pluto being outside, Saturn's a part of it, Neptune's outside. I know it's a part of it on this day and where I think and what I envision to achieve or I'm devoted to, but as a zone here, I have to work within. And what is opposing me outside of this zone of anything that comes up unexpectedly, I have to deal with. Might not like it, but you got to deal with it. And it may, I would say, sort of somewhat like, okay, say you want to save money. And you want to save a certain amount every month. But then all of a sudden things come in that you weren't expecting. I mean, you knew what you were expecting that's going to come in, right? You got to pay the light bill every month. You got to pay the rent every month. You got to pay this or that or your phone bill or whatever it is. You got to pay these things. Those are everything that's going to come. But then all of a sudden something unexpected comes up that you had no idea about or when it was going to be happening. I mean, I go through these things as well. And it's like, okay, I have to deal with this because now it's here. And I have to say, okay, I can't put this amount back because this came about. So it's how you handle the responsibility of something that's going to, in the end, when this moon gets over here and it's exalted, because we're going to have the new moon, right, in Capricorn. But when it gets here, what we're doing now that we feel like we're kind of having to control our desires so we can achieve something here that will be exalted and expand by the time the moon gets there. Which, hold on a second. Let's see. We have the new moon. All right, we have a full moon on the 6th. Okay, okay, we already had the new moon. I didn't have January's. We already had the new moon. So we're going into the full moon in Capricorn. Or no, I'm sorry. Oh, shoot. I hope I didn't. Hold on one second. Be right back. So sorry about that. I was sorting out the Empresses this morning, getting out last year's away. So that's why it's kind of throwing me off. And I looked up there and I said, that's 2023. I got the wrong Empress here. All right. We have a new moon on the 11th in Capricorn. I had that right. We have a new moon coming. I knew we just had a full moon on the 26th in December. So we're going into the new moon on the 11th. Now that's 5 days away from the date that this is on the 5th. No, so I'm sorry, 6 days away from this. In Capricorn at 20 degrees. Okay. Maybe you'll be able to see your vision a lot clearly here and really feel it. Uh, and the full moon is going to be in Leo on the 25th. So, whatever you're doing here, this on the, oh, when will the moon come in contact with Jupiter? Let's see. I'll tell you. It's in Taurus. When will it come into Taurus? It'll be on around the 18th at 11 degrees. Or be in that area. Let's see. Jupiter. Jupiter will be at that time around 6 degrees. Oh, okay. Oh, I got it now. It's going to conjunct with Jupiter around the 17th, which will be the first quarter of the moon. So when this moon gets over here into Aries, that's when you're going to initiate. That is the first quarter of the moon. This is when you begin to actions. You begin to take the actions. And so that's going to be around the 17th. And then it's going to conjoin with this, and you can expand. You can really, this can really grow emotionally. Your emotions are going to be heightened to achieve something here and expand on something here. And then we'll have the full moon in Leo, where we will really, the energies from between here at the first quarter, where it's about our future, we get here. Don't worry, just control what you can control here, what you desire. You know what you desire. You know what you can control. You can work within the boundaries here. But when it gets over here, and we get to this point where you begin to, with the North Node, that it's going to feel, the moon's going to be growing, so the energy is going to be intensifying. And when it comes over here, not only will the moon go into Taurus being exalted, but something can really grow and expand here and accomplish something here. That's why there's the point. You may be in some opposition and maybe feel like, well, I don't know. I might have to, I'm working within these boundaries. But as long as you're working here and you're putting in the effort to do something and working within the restrictions you need to work in and doing what you need to get done, whatever here between these two, and putting in that work and that effort, even though they're malefic, when it gets over here, the moon, being here and exalted, I feel like it's going to really be something that you are going to have the capacity to love and have that value, something here of what you're doing. And you may be able to show what you need here easier, or be able to express that love. And something will be a gain. You will have gained something here because you were responsible, because you worked within these limits. You're willing to work within those limits. And you're willing to put in the effort so you can gain something here that's coming in the future. So I think this is really a good sign. And you'll have some recognition at that time. And like I said, this is coming around the 17th of January. And And that, I gotta say, that number 17, 17 degrees, or 17, the day is victory. I think you're going to overcome some sort of challenge here, or struggle. The next thing we have going on here is that the moon is now at 3 degrees in Scorpio. Now, even though it's in its fall, okay, only for part of the way here, because whatever you try to do here, you may succeed during this void of course, but then you may not. So don't get down about it, okay? About what you desire. You may be trying to accomplish something here, but remember, this is where the moon is waning before the new moon. Okay? Things kind of always look the darkest before the brightness, right? So, whatever you try to succeed here at this time when the moon gets here, don't worry about it. Because this moon is trying Saturn. Remember? The trapezoid. The big thing is what the moon is doing here. You're working within the limits and restrictions. And this is a good thing. Even though you feel like you're not getting anywhere, it's okay. You are. You just don't even realize it. You don't realize what you're going to gain. Well, right now with the moon in opposition here, and it feels like you can't get what you desire, guess what? You will. You will. It's not all bad. Not bad at all. You will gain something here. And I feel like you will overcome whatever this square is, because you will, since you did work within those boundaries and within those guidelines. I know everything, it just seemed like everything was against you, right? Because when Mars and Saturn come together, they're called malefic. They're not as beneficial. I mean, they can work together, but it can make you feel like you're not getting anywhere. Like everything's against you. Because you're working within this thing. But it's okay. Don't sweat the small stuff. Because when this becomes, and it gets over here at Mars, and it's at that new moon, all right? And as it moves toward that full moon, and it comes into this area, and then it becomes exalted, remember one thing here. Venus is over here in Sagittarius, right? Which is whose house? Jupiter's. Whose house is Jupiter sitting in? Venus's. Now, when two planets are in the opposing houses, you can almost switch those around. And they become beneficent, meaning very big, expansion. So, when this moon comes over here, and you flip this around, not only is there expansion and growth, but there's gain. What you seek, you shall have. Because you put the work in. You put the effort in. You see what I'm saying now? Because Mars, being in Capricorn, is exalted. Meaning you can get this stuff done during these. Mars is there for what? How long is Mars in Capricorn? Goes into Capricorn on the 4th, I think it was, I said. Yeah, went in on the 4th, and it ingressed into Capricorn on the 4th, which was yesterday. It will be there until the 13th of February. Right before Valentine's Day. Or no, I'm sorry. Hold on a minute. Yeah, 13th of February. So you got, let's see, 1, about 2, 3, 4, 5. You got about 6 weeks. A little over 6 weeks here. That this is going to be very beneficial. That you can have the power and the control to do something here. Get something done. And this is really good. I remember when I bought this land or this lot where I'm at right now, where my home is right now, I bought it for myself on Valentine's Day back in 1987, I believe it was. Yeah, I think it was 87. That I bought this lot, and as it was a Valentine's Day gift to myself. So just, it's funny because that's been years ago, huh? That's been over 30 years ago. I think it's, wow. Kind of makes me feel old. Let's see. God, that's been 37 years ago. Dang, I do feel old. So, that's how long I've been here. It's 37 years. Wow. I might have 3 more years to come out of exile. I've been wandering. Wow. Did I get to the promised land? Yes. Love it. Anyway, so anyway, just remember you can gain from something here by working in and putting the effort in. Don't get discouraged. I would say don't get discouraged because you can gain from something here. All right, the next thing we have later on in the day around 6:30, and this will be on till about 3:35 in the morning on the 6th. After this will go on after midnight. You'll be in bed asleep. I know I will be. But anyway, what we got going on here is the moon in Scorpio at 5 degrees and 38 minutes. And it's in opposition to Jupiter. This is where you may feel it's okay. Just remember what I said. You can work on something here. It's just this point of time that you may feel like you're not getting where you want to accomplish, what your goal is here. But when that goes and it hits in Aries and it hits that where you finally make that initiative and you take that action, you begin at this first quarter, that's when you plant the seed. And this may be where there's some harvest here because you took control. That thing was coming on the 4th. I mean, that I talked about on the 4th. I'm still kind of like iffy on it. Not sure. We'll see. But we'll see what happens. And we can talk about it when that day comes on the 17th. Or when we plant that seed at that first quarter of the moon, I can say, okay, what did y'all plant? Put it in the comments below in the description. What seed are you planting that you want to see it grow? That you can harvest come in the fall? That will become again. Now, right now, put in the comments below what you feel like you may feel like it's not going so good, or you can't get to it. I'm telling you, you are going to get to it. It's just how you going to get there. Because again, the T-square is there. Whatever your vision is for the future, you're going to have to work within this focus and not so much of what's against you, but take it and make it work for you. If you can work within the restrictions and the limitations, like I'm 4'9", right? I'm blind in one eye. I've got some health conditions. Certain things I can't do like I normally used to do. I used to, really go get her. Go get it done. Go get her done. That's what it was. Go get her done. All right? Put my Nikes on. Just do it, and get her done. But what here I have to now in my life at this time, I have restrictions and limitations that I have to work through. And that's where my mind gets activated and say, okay, you're 4'9", you're older, you can't do things like you used to do, but you can make concessions. There was a time where I said, okay, I can't carry all this yard stuff out and around with me. I went and bought a wheel for my wagon, hook on the back of my lawnmower, put everything in there, got my extension cord, rode down the driveway, letting out the extension cord as I fed it to the ground as I go out. Okay? Got out there, did what I had to do, rolled it all up, put it in the wagon, bring it back up. So there's ways you can do things, even though you have restrictions. Do not tell yourself and do not say, I can't achieve this. It's too hard. It's only hard because you're not willing to change something here. And you've got to be willing to change your heart. And you got to say, I've got a good heart. I'm a good person. I deserve this. I can create this. And I'm not going to let anybody tell me I can't. I have done that all my life when people have told me, oh, you can't do that. I've had people thought they were so book smart and degree smart and all that. Oh, you can't do that. I even proved them wrong. Don't tell a person who's so determined to achieve a goal or is spiritually dedicated in your heart to accomplish something. Do not let those tell you you can't do it, because you can. I'm an example of it. Use your resources wisely. Only get what you need. And you will succeed. You'll make it. And always take your responsibility seriously. Because right now, with the South Node as well being in opposition to the future of what's ahead, is telling you, look up for your future. What's there? Mars. What is Mars sextiling? Saturn. Okay, I've got restrictions, but I got a mind, and I can use it. I know how to communicate. I can get ideals and thoughts, and I can seek out information that I need to help me do something here. I just got to find the right people that I can work with. And work within those limits. Yeah, may be difficult, But don't ever say, I can't do something, because you can. You got to have the right heart, and you got to be dedicated to something to do it. Okay? Just like I am dedicated to this channel. I've gone through a rough patch, had all the odds against me and everything else, I had a lot of responsibilities. My mother came first, her illness and what she's going through. And I have bills to pay, just like everybody else does. I had to dedicate myself and be responsible to that. I had things I had to do. I didn't have time, and I was just exhausted. Y'all don't know how exhausted I have been through all I went through and have gone through. I'm just felt like I had hit a brick wall. Not that I was giving in. It's just I needed rest. I was tired and wore slap out. So, and I needed to heal. So some of you may be in that place, but you will gain if you're devoted to something. I promise you that. And God promises us that. I was devoted to Him and rededicated my life over 3 years ago. It's been, over 3 years ago now. And I had a struggle with baptism. First they say you have to be saved. You have to acknowledge Jesus Christ as the Son of God. And He was here. He died for our sins. And through Him, this is where you go to the Father. But I had a problem that I struggled with baptism because I felt like I was unworthy of it. And I wasn't strong enough. Well, finally, after being denied several times, and I kept looking at it and I kept saying, okay. God says I'm not ready. Or Christ says I'm not ready. He knew. And He was probably right, and they should have denied me. Because the struggle I was going through was an internal struggle. And then finally I did. It finally happened. Where I wanted it to happen and by whom I wanted it to happen. And that's the thing. My prayer was answered. God didn't want me to be baptized anywhere else but by whom that I knew I needed to be baptized by and where it needed to be done. And I don't have a problem now. There's no more struggle with it. I know the devil has tried to do his best to take that away from me, but I'm not going to allow it. So, like I said, use my examples. Things I've been through in my own life that I can share with you, that I can say, don't give up. Yeah, you face challenges. Yes. You face blockages. Yes. But there's nothing out there that if you devote yourself to it, you can overcome. You just got to want it bad enough. And you got to devote yourself to it and dedicate your heart and yourself to it. And you'll be amazed how different you can feel on the inside and how at peace you can feel. But I know the struggles, and I know where you just get to a point where you feel like I just cannot take another day. When you get that in that position, you have burnt yourself out. You need rest. You need healing. You need to isolate yourself and take care of you. And you're never alone, ever. That's a promise. You're never alone. That's the wonderful thing of faith and believing and what you can't see and what you can't touch, but you will be able to hear. I promise you that. Just might not be in your time. So with that, I'm going to say thank you for joining me. Please give the video a thumbs up. And if you're new, hit the subscribe button. And also make sure you click the bell and hit the all, so you'll get all notifications when something comes up in the feed, when I'm live. Because sometimes, like I said, I'm hoping to do something here that we can have a birth chart night with others, and maybe help you there kind of understand something in your chart and what's going on, and especially when your returns are, when planets return to the time of your birth. Some get there more often than others. Some of them are a little slower, takes a little longer. Some of them never get there again. I'll never see Pluto get two degrees in Virgo again. I mean, look where it's sitting at, you guys. You think I'm going to live that long? It takes it takes Pluto 248 years to get around the zodiac. It's going to be sitting over here for 20 years. And that would put me at what, 85? I mean, come on. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. All right. But y'all take care. And thank you so much for joining me. Share the link to the videos. Bring others in. Bring a friend in. Okay. I might even run a little campaign with that. Oh, I do want to say Mercury is in its detriment being in Sagittarius right now. Detriment meaning that is it's opposite its sign. And Vista's in its sign. So, you know, usually happens. But see, Vista is in Gemini's in Mercury sign, but what Vista usually rules is dealing with the Libra. So you can't kind of swap those around because it doesn't rule Sagittarius. It leans more toward Libra. It's used a lot more there. Just like Chiron's used a lot more for Virgo. Because it's wellness. You know, Virgo's all about health and service. So, anyway, that's another story. So, anyway, like I said, share the video with your friends, the link, and also join me again and make your comments. You know, let me know what it is you want to plant here, where you feel like you can't accomplish something here, where you feel like, and you know, maybe with the chart night we can work through that and see where it's at and what's kind of in your way. All right, I love you guys. Take care, and I've enjoyed it. Till we meet again. Bye.